Pro, iPhone 13.
You sure it's 13? It looks exactly like the 12 to me. I think Apple's having you on here.
Oh mate, I thought you'd be excited. It's definitely the 13. It's in the new blue colour.
We may as well just repost the iPhone 12 video and call it iPhone 13 First Impressions.
Well, it's definitely got a few new features, especially in the camera department, Android boy.
Calm down, Apple boy. Sit in that chair and let's see what all the hype's about.
Okay, so funny skit out the way, I'm back from Apple Meadowhall to pick up my brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max. And this is not a review, I just want to put this out there, this is just first impressions. Review will follow in a few weeks once I've had some time with this device. Now my phone that I've been rocking daily for the last 2 years has been the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I didn't get the 12, in fact, well I did, but I sent it back to Apple because I just didn't feel the upgrade was necessary for the amount of money I was having to spend. So I've had this for 2 years, now it's time to upgrade, and first thing off the bat compared to the 11 is that this thing is heavy, and because of the edges on this thing, because it's a box instead of it being round, it feels so much bigger even though the screen is exactly the same size. So I almost don't know if that's a bit of a downside or not. Now the next biggest upgrade with the iPhone 13 lineup is on the front, and that is the notch. Now they're saying that the notch is 20% smaller. To be honest, here's the thing. When I've been using the notch on the 11, I never really notice it anyway. And I don't even notice it on this one, obviously, because it's a little bit smaller. But what I'm trying to say is, there's still a notch there on both. So I think that to get rid of the notch, they're actually gonna have to get rid of the notch. Do you know what I mean? Like, now, what I think is gonna be a game changer, especially going from the iPhone 11, which I have here, iPhone 13 Pro Max here, is that camera bump on the back. As you can see, we have a significantly bigger camera bump, not only in size, but in depth. You can see there that with these phones side by side, the 13 Pro Max is so much bigger, and obviously I'm hoping that's gonna, well, give us some better photo and video quality, which we're gonna do a little test of in this video because I know you lot are dying to see what we think of the cinematic modes. Now I think the biggest upgrade for me personally from the 11 to the 13 is gonna be the screen, and because this is the Pro Max, obviously we have the 120Hz variable refresh. Now I wanna put this out there. A lot of marketing says this is a 120Hz screen. Yes, it can go up to 120Hz, but right now with the screen not doing anything, this is probably refreshing at about 1 to 2 Hz. This screen only moves its refresh rate when something on the screen actually moves. Besides the point, moving around on the home screen between these two phones, you can definitely tell which one is running at the higher refresh and which one is stuck at 60. It genuinely makes it feel like butter, and I already knew what that was going to feel like because of my experience with my iPad Pro for the last 2 years. This is something that's really, really welcome, 120Hz, but I'm also still a bit salty that they just didn't do it sooner. Now, obviously we're out here, we're gonna test out the cameras on the iPhone 13 and I'm gonna put them against my, well, daily driver, the 11 Pro Max. We're gonna see where the differences are. Just gonna take some normal photos. We're in a car park right now, so it's kind of low light. Obviously we have macro on here and the cinematic mode, which we'll go back to the office after this and test out some more. But let's take some photos. There's a sign over there. Let's see which phone can read the sign better. Snap. Funnily enough, on our first photo, the iPhone 11, it's giving me a much sharper image. Our image on the iPhone 13 is much softer, as you can see when you zoom all the way into this text, which is a really, really strange first result. So not a great first photo, however, the 13 does save itself because if you actually look at the photos side by side without being cropped in, the 13 Pro just reveals much more detail in the darker areas. It looks much more lifelike. Okay, I'm going to do one at a time. There's the 13, there is our 11. Let's get zoomed into the sign. I don't understand. The quality of the iPhone 11 is better. I can make out that postal code, whereas on the iPhone 13, it's just not even distinguishable. Like, I can't even make it out, but on here, I can just about make it out on the 11. The 13 Pro is definitely the better photo. It looks far more lifelike. It's captured the light, the way it's coming down from these lights in here, much better than the 11. However, the 11's sharpness is still on point. Okay, so we're going to try the ultra-wide camera down here in this dark little crevice. Let's snap that photo with the 11 and then snap this photo with the 13. Okay, now the details are starting to show. That ultra-wide camera is significantly better. Check out how soft that is on the 11 and then how sharp these little shards are on the 13 screen. And obviously we're cropped in here a little bit. Okay. We're starting to see some improvements, some upgrades. So confirmed, and you can even see it on the screens of these phones, the ultra-wide camera on the 13 is miles better than the 11. So if you're buying these phones just for the photo upgrade, you're going to be pleasantly surprised with that ultra-wide. On the iPhone 13, we have a 3 times optical zoom, and then the digital zoom goes in even further to times 15. So there is your telephoto difference. On screen now, you can see 11 and 13. You can make out the text on both, but it's much more distinguishable on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Okay, let's go over to some video features back in the office. Mate, wake up, we've got an iPhone cinematic to film.
Just 5 more minutes.
It's iPhone 13 day, bro.
5 more minutes.
I think you need a little help from Mr. Caffeine, my friend. So what we're going to do for the iPhone cinematic then? Okay, so I've had about 24 hours here on planet Earth with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and this phone has made me realise a couple of things. Some good, some bad. Let me explain. Now, this is the year that's brought this all to light to me, and that is that we have reached hardware limitations in smartphones. Let me explain. This is an iPhone 6 Plus, and it's still in functioning order. I can use this thing right now, and it can pretty much do all, if not most of the things that my iPhone 13 Pro Max can do. And that is, I think, because we have physically reached hardware limitations, and Apple have proven this to us by physically making the cinematic mode in the camera. The reason they've made that feature, and yes, it's obviously a software feature that adds the bokeh, is because we cannot fit a large lens inside of a phone. So now software is having to take over. My problem was that I was comparing it directly to my iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is still a very capable phone. So many people around the world would kill to have a device like this in their pocket. However, it is insane to say, yes, this device is still very capable, but this manages to blow this out the water. And it's really weird how it does it. Like I mentioned when I first got the phone out the box, it was really hard to tell a difference between the two phones, and I was going as far as saying I even prefer my iPhone 11 because it's easier to hold. Now, my opinion has completely changed in the last 24 hours, and that's because of all the minor little upgrades that nobody ever really talks about that have happened on this device. Let me reel off a few. First off, the speakers. The audio quality on this phone, it doesn't even sound like a phone. The audio quality that comes from this is insane. Leaps and bounds better than my 2-year-old iPhone 11. The screen on the 13 Pro Max, obviously an OLED, obviously running at 120 Hz. When you have the phones side by side and you're using them, you can't really see much of a difference. But if you go for a prolonged period of 3 or 4 hours using the iPhone 13 and then you switch back to the iPhone 11, my God, do you notice it? It's insane. I want this back straight away. Now, if you want my one-liner, this is pretty much it. Apple have made an absolutely phenomenal phone here. It really will not disappoint you. However, it comes with a price tag, a very high price tag at that. Now, if you have an iPhone 11 or a phone that's, let's say, 2 or even 3 years old, you do not need to go out and buy this. It really isn't a necessity. And I would hazard a guess that if you did, obviously you would really like this device, but you would be a little bit disappointed. I think to upgrade to this device, you need to have a device that's on its last legs or is at least 3 to 4 years old to get any sort of significant increase. Because like I've said, for the past 3 years, I think phones have literally reached hardware limitations. To make these things better, they're actually gonna have to get bigger, and that isn't gonna happen. I really like this thing, and for now, it's gonna be staying in my pocket. I really think Apple have defined that pro word that they like to use on all of their products, because this device in the hand really does feel pro. But you guys will have to stay tuned for our full review. My name's been Alex, this has been TechFlow, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.